career online, I have seen so many deranged premises that made me wonder if the world is the problem or if maybe I'm just too vanilla. But after years and years of going through every deranged tag that this universe has to offer, I came to realize that nope, I'm not the problem. It is literally every single mangaka on this godforsaken globe trying to outdo one another and who could come up with the most deranged plot that they could fathom. And how I came to this realization, how I came to this epiphany, was a manga title that I saw scrolling around on Twitter called Gokuri. It was a tweet I stumbled across and kind of kept scrolling past, but then I stopped because there was one line, one sentence, actually in reality, just 3 words that had me scrolling up with my chubby little fingers back to that tweet as fast as I could because I thought I saw it wrong. And the 3 words I saw were Seamen drinking curse. Because what the actual fuck could that mean? Because what do you mean? A seamen drinking cursed romance? What? I was so bothered, yet so intrigued. And it is that same deadly combination that has led me down many cursed roads, nipple birth and all. So I bought all of the volumes that were out and I read them to Kingdom Come. And Jesus H. Christ, it did not let me down for 1 minute because of how deranged this manga is. The characters, the story, the scenarios, the drama, the cursed chugging drama! Gallons of jizz of drama seeping into my brain at every page! But even more than that, there's some lore in those balls. And I need you all to know every smidge and crumb that it has to offer. Because it's a roller coaster that I refuse to remember even in my fondest Vietnam flashbacks. At least, not alone. And it all begins with a stupid ass guy named Taku. But before we continue, I am so happy to announce today's sponsor, Konami. And I am incredibly excited to be telling you guys about their next upcoming title, Silent Hill F. The newest addition to the Silent Hill series and written by the one and only Ryukishi07, who you may have heard of created the series Higurashi and Umineko. That is actually why I'm wearing this outfit right now, even though it is so hot in Japan. It's kind of giving like small town, don't be alone with me in a garbage dump kind of feel. Lord knows I am quite privy to his ability to write psychological horror, fear-inducing splendor, the likes that seem almost inhuman to do. Being able to blur the line between what is real or what is madness, all while keeping you on your toes with mystery and non-stop twists, is one of Ryukishi's best abilities in his writing. And from the looks of it, Silent Hill F will be no exception. Blending his own special mix of horror with Japanese folklore are both firsts for this franchise, and one making me incredibly excited for its September 25th, 2025 release. As a massive fan of Silent Hill and Ryukishi07, I am counting down the days for this release. And you should too, because it will be available on PC, Xbox Series XS, and PlayStation 5. Silent Hill F will undoubtedly be a must for horror fans. Be sure to check out the game using the link in my description. Thank you again, Konami, and now back to the video. Taku, a kid growing up in the middle of butt-fuck nowhere, Japan. A relatively normal little man with 2 childhood friends. One, a guy named Naoki, and the second, our manga's victim, a girl named Riko. Someone to whom Taku has been in love with since he was 7. However, Riko has the hots for Naoki, and Naoki for Riko. So Naoki and Riko begin dating. Riko and Naoki decide to try long distance, but right when he left, Naoki just started to ghost Riko because what high schooler would want to maintain a relationship when starting a new life in a foreign country? Riko's all depressed about it, but decides to stay loyal to Naoki even though he didn't say one word to her since he left. He never even tried calling her. He literally left and they never spoke since. Now Taku is super emo because Riko is still in love with Naoki, but he hears a rumor that there's a shrine nearby that if you pray at it, your wish will come true. So with nothing but a dick and a prayer, he heads on over. He goes to the shrine, clasps his hands together, and makes the prayer, I want Riko to be unable to live without me. Now we get into this whole genie in the bottle type of situation because the god of that shrine hears that and decides to do a be careful what you wish for ass situation. And you'd be one to think the god construes this as maybe Riko's kidneys begin to fail and Taku's the only donor. Or maybe Riko's lungs collapse unless she's near Taku. But nope! This motherfucker got real creative because the next day at school, Riko started to get hungry. Really hungry. So hungry, she fainted, and Taku took her to the nurse. And that's where the god came out and decided to let him in on his little shenanigans. He begins to explain why Riko is going down to Starvation Nation. He made it so Riko, our little devoted debutante, Riko ni, couldn't live another day unless she is downtown guzzling Taku's goo-goo juice. And it ain't easy either, okay? Because she can't just DoorDash a crusty cup of jizz to her house from a fertility clinic. The god literally made it. So unless she herself milks our human cow Taku, her drinking his Gwyneth Paltrow goop wouldn't be effective. And she would just have to starve to death. And once learning this, Riko ain't happy, okay? She loves her little baby god Naoki. But you're not you when you're hungry, and nobody likes a hangry hussy. And thus begins our sordid-ass tale of how the hell isn't this a hentai as we walk down Handy J Lane. Because every chapter from then on is just Riko going, I got the stomach wumblies. Gonna need my little food piggy to come on down because mama needs a little beef stroke me off. And almost always Taku's just like, oh my god, here? We mustn't, we're at school. But trust me, even though Riko is all depressed about it, she finds a way because bitch gotta eat. The locker rooms during swimming practice, the storage room. Bro, even during a school play when Riko is playing the main lead, it's just game on whenever, wherever. All with each chapter ending with one word on a blank page. Gulp. And this whole time, she is miserable. Always constantly close to tears. There's even one chapter where she's jacking him off while also simultaneously crying. This whole time, she's feeling guilt towards her boyfriend, not understanding why the hell this is happening. All because Taku didn't really want to tell her that he wished for this shit. She's just sitting here thinking that this random-ass god decided to curse her. But slowly, through the power of God and jobs on her side, she begins to slowly open up to Taku. She talks about how depressed she is that Naoki hasn't sent her one message since he left 6 months ago. Like at that point, girl, I would be taking the hint, but okay, you do you. How she feels less lonely now that she has Taku, to the point that she actually decides to go on a date with him. And even at another point while doing a grocery run via his balls, decides to kiss him. Their relationship is flourishing into a real Cinderella circle jerk. One day, Riko asks Taku to go on a date, and it is going super well, to the point that Taku even confesses that he's been in love with Riko for 10 years. He confesses that he wants to be with Riko super bad, and actually, Riko is hearing this and not hating the idea. During this confession, Riko starts to get really hungry, to the point she decides to say like, hey, my parents aren't home right now, should we just go there and feed me? So they go to her house and shit gets heavy quick. And by heavy, I mean hot and heavy. Like me when I see somebody crying during an NTR scene. He's touching her little itties, she's touching him downtown, but then suddenly, the doorbell rings. Who could that be? Plot twist! It's motherfucking Naoki back from Vietnam at the door! Riko leaves Taku in her room and quickly goes to the door, and right when she answers, Naoki apologizes for not talking to her at all for the past 6 months because supposedly, when he landed in Vietnam, an elephant just stepped on his phone and broke it, and she just hears this and is like, okay, like, we are living in modern times. Have you not heard of a phone? Are you telling me a high schooler can go 6 months without a new phone? Like, for all she knew, you were dead. But gasp, Taku's upstairs with his pants around his ankles, waiting for Riko to come upstairs and give him a handshake linear coded. Riko tried to make Naoki leave, but bro could not take the hint. He could smell the NTR from a mile away. He rushes upstairs to Riko's room to see Taku with his pants on, luckily, and is like, oh shit, bro, why are you here? And they're like, oh, we were just studying. But oh shit, Riko is still starving. And you come to find out from this moment on, her starvation comes only during the worst time it could possibly come. It's like her stomach grumbles for man liquids when a sense of drama is near. She goes to the bathroom to suffer and leaves Naoki and Taku in her room, but Taku can sense right away that something's not right. So Taku follows her to the bathroom. He knocks, she doesn't answer, and then he notices the bathroom door is unlocked. He opens it, shuts it behind him, and it's like, baby girl, you looking a little hungry. So she begins to jack him off while they're both in the bathroom. But guess what this mother forgot to do? Lock the door. Naoki begins to hear noises from the bathroom, opens it up, and lo and behold, he sees the whole shebang. Naoki begins to understandably freak the out, but Taku says, that, shuts the door again, but this time locks it. Motherfucker snaps his fingers and then says, Riko, why you stopping? Let's go to Jacktown. We gotta get you fed, girl. Now Naoki's banging on the door yelling, what's going on? What the f did I just see? All while Riko sits Taku's ass down on her lap like Santa Claus and goes down Billy Joel style on his nuts. She's an arsonist because she started a fire on those groins, bitch. And Naoki's just outside staring at the door in disbelief because what the fuck is this that he's hearing? He didn't start crying though, so I didn't actually feel all that hot and heavy about it, which is just kind of a shame. After Taku finishes and Riko does her little guzzle guzzle, they both leave the bathroom and try to explain the situation to Naoki, but Naoki doesn't believe them. I mean, he just saw his girlfriend jacking off his other childhood friend. Bro doesn't want to hear about how some random ass god cursed you and you're forced to drink your childhood friend's gunk, okay? Bro probably thought the same thing I did when I first heard this story. But randomly and unexpectedly at the next day of school, Riko and Naoki are acting like nothing happened. They are still dating and still very romancy and lovey-dovey, but this time they are kind of ignoring Taku. Like, bro just casually forgot that he walked in on his girlfriend jacking off his friend and then they spewed this really insane story, but okay. So now Taku's sitting here ignored by Riko and it's like, well, what the fuck? What am I to you now? Like sliced ham? I think I got that idiom wrong because sliced ham is delicious. Sliced poop? I don't know. One day at school, Naoki just starts randomly beating the shit out of Taku because he's pissed that he got super mega NTR'd. And then, of course, at the time, while Naoki's just handing his ass to Taku, guess who gets hungry? Guess who needs a little num-num? To which, during this whole shebang starts happening, the god that cursed them shows up, and then Naoki's like, hey, yo, what the f***? You guys weren't lying. Shit, what the hell? And he's in such disbelief that he kind of just walks away knowing that his friend is about to get jacked off by his girlfriend because he's like, oh shit, maybe that god does exist. I guess you do need his gunk to survive. Jack him off, but I'm gonna be crying by the door! So Riko does end up jacking off Taku again and then just begins to ignore him again after that. Either way, after that, Taku felt bad. He felt abandoned. So much so that he got sick. He ended up missing school for a few days and Riko started getting those oogie boogie pangs. She decided to visit Taku at his home to get some Scotch bonnet dick brulee, but Taku was not having any of it. He was angry that since Naoki came back, Riko began to ignore him and clearly used him beforehand as a placeholder. And also because she needed a scooch, but irrelevant. Either way, he was not happy, closed his legs, and said, nah, you're not getting any bitch. To which Riko drops a bombshell the likes that Chizuru would be proud of. She says, hey, I actually do. I like you back. But I don't want to be with you. I don't want to be with you because I also like Naoki! And also, she's hungry, and she wants a little taste of that dick cheese. So she decides to suck him off. Oh my god, guys, is this romance development in my curse manga? Either way, Riko is confused, and Taku has it in his head that she's most likely confused because she kinda needs him to not die. So he comes up with an idea to stop the curse and make her realize her true feelings by cutting off his dick. So he goes to the god shrine, takes a knife, and just begins to repeatedly stab his f***ing dick off. Honestly, Van Gogh would be jealous because that's some romantic ass shit right there. The god is just like, holy shit, you clearly don't want this to be happening anymore. So much so that you're gonna cut your f***ing dick off. I'm just gonna remove the curse and you know what? Let's act like this didn't happen, okay? What the fuck? Doctors did end up saving Taku's dick, and Naoki went up to him and was just like, hey bro, respect. I would never cut my f***ing dick off for that bitch. She's all yours. And lo and behold, Riko's like, okay, well, he left, so I know I want you now that you tried cutting your dick off. Let's bang. And so they do. And after that, you would be sitting there thinking, oh shit, did I just finish the most wholesome romance manga that I ever had the misfortune of ingesting? But believe it or not, this isn't where the series ends. Our hell is just beginning. Because we get a time skip 10 years later. A time skip in my cursed semen drinking manga! Riko and Taku banged like goddamn rabbits, and who could blame them? I mean, they faced life and death together. People who go through things like that are together for the rest of their lives. Until they're not. Because once the two graduate from high school, they both go to different universities, and after a few years of trying to do long distance, Riko decides to break it off because they're not really seeing each other and they both have different lives. Which is weirdly realistic. in my Demonic Balls manga story. They both ended up finding new partners and marrying them, all while not really communicating anymore because they both live in different cities and just in general have completely different lives now. It's been 10 years. Taku found his now wife Akane while in university, and after they graduated, they quickly married. They're about 27 years old now, and Akane is now a freshly new promoted manager in her hair salon, while Taku is just a simple, normal office worker. They both have a very fairly normal marriage, except for one thing. They haven't banged in a year. So Taku, realizing that shit, it's been over a year now since they last banged, sits his wife down and tells her, hey, I don't like that. Can we change that? And his wife hears this and is just like, well, work is busy and also sex is kind of a chore, so I'm not doing that. No, I'm not gonna do that. Maybe when work's not so busy, but no. So Taku hears this and it's like, okay, shit, I don't know what to do. He loves his wife, but he also wants to have sex. So he leaves the house and it's like, I need to have a walk. I need to think, okay? On his walk, he begins to reminisce about his very intense sexual days that he had with Riko. Like in high school and after high school, they were banging like crazy. They could not detach from each other. And he's missing it deeply. And while reminiscing about those days, guess who this motherfucker bumps into? Riko the herself. They bump into each other and Taku's like, hey, yo, what the f***? Why are you here, Riko? You're not meant to be living in this city. And Riko's like, oh, my husband just got a job here. And instead of ending the conversation there like a normal person would, Riko then begins to just trauma dump? She begins to complain to Taku, saying that, oh, she really loves her husband, but he only really sees her as an object and doesn't want to have sex with her. Now, Taku hears this and is even more shocked because, guess what partner also doesn't want to have sex with them? So they begin to vent to each other and decide to keep hanging out after this to just talk about their marriage and try to come up with ways to make their partners want to fuck them. Because two people meeting up to talk about this has always worked out for everybody, right? It's always worked ever. They begin to meet like once a week, doing stuff like karaoke, getting dinner at family restaurants, texting in general when they're not together. And on the outside looking in, it does look like they're on a date or something, but in general, they're just constantly talking about how shit their marriages are together. And after a while, unsurprisingly, the two of them begin to think, maybe we should just bang? And you know what? Guess where they had that f***ing thought? In front of a goddamn shrine! At this point, I do not understand how they do not navigate around a shrine. How do they look at a shrine and think, should I just have thoughts around it? I don't know. Maybe I'm victim blaming here. I just know if I saw a motherfucking shrine, I would be going the other way. Either way, the god from the previous shrine heard their thoughts and was like, bet, bitch, this is the shit I've been waiting for. So that motherfucker inflicted the curse yet a goddamn again. And I am so sure, much to their dismay, they heard this and they were like so upset about it. I am so sure. Oh no, I'm sexually starved and have to jack off my ex-boyfriend who's just as sexually starved. Oh, woe is me. Hope nothing crosses the line between us, even though we're hiding this from my partners while I'm jacking off this random guy. But Lord knows she's pretty used to doing this shit behind her partner's back anyway, so So Riko and Taku begin to meet up at hotels when she starts to get hungry again and to just jack them off. But this time, instead of Riko just getting a little sniffle and a drizzle, they're very excited about this, okay? They are doing all sorts of shit. Riko's letting him touch her. They're doing a little more than just a snook gloop gloop. Things are getting real hot and heavy between them. All the while, we begin to see that Akane, Taku's wife, is beginning to sense something's not right here. But even though she's sensing it, she's not really doing much about it. Why? She said it's because she's busy with work, but guess what, girl? It's because she had her own saucy little side piece, too! Everyone really be doing everything but divorce, am I right? Now, Akane never had sex with her side piece. It was this little guy from work. All he ever did to her was finger bang bang right into her room, and that only happened once, but she really likes this guy, and she feels guilty. So much so that one day she tells Taku, hey, can we sit down and just like talk about something real quick? And Taku, hearing this, is like, okay, not really expecting much, sits down, is like, yeah, what's up, honey? And then she just drops this info like it's nothing. She just upright says, I have feelings for somebody in my work. She doesn't say that the guy like touched her or anything. She just says that she has feelings for him. And Taku's like hearing this and is like obviously shocked, doesn't really know what to say right away. He's more thinking, whoa, okay, I'm gonna ignore the fact that I've been doing this fucked up shit behind your back and I'm hearing this wondering what the fuck I should say. Like, yeah, maybe what I'm doing is wrong, but you doing this? That's even worse. Like, really, he was just shocked and didn't really say anything because admittedly, it is just a shocking piece of info to just dump. And after 10 seconds of him not saying anything, Akane just gets really angry at him and it's like, okay, if you're not gonna say anything in the next like few seconds about it, I'm just gonna go stay at my parents. Which I admittedly thought was kind of bullshit, you know, like even though ignoring everything he did, she only gave him like a few seconds to answer and then she's like, oh, fuck you, I'm leaving, you're not gonna say anything. So either way, she leaves and Taku is just completely upset about it. He is completely depressed because damn, his wife has feelings for somebody else. All the while this is happening, Riko's texting him in need of her daily dick bread. He's hungry and needs to eat. So they meet up at a place and Taku is so depressed about this that he can't get it up. Wow. And Riko realizing that he's so depressed that he can't get it up makes her worry because if he can't, then she's gonna starve. So she decides, hey, oh my god, should we just go on an onsen trip just to make you relax? And trust me, it's not only the onsen that's gonna get hot and steamy. So they go to Ryokan, which is a hotel that has a onsen in it, and after going to the onsen, they begin to make out, and Taku begins to fondle her titties. Taku wants love, and he wants it now! Except it isn't now because that was the latest volume that I read during the recording of this, and honestly, I'm invested. I kind of want to know if they bang. I need to know. After going through all of this, after knowing that that's where it ends, I've seen too much of these characters' lives to just end it there. Like, how is this going to end? I mean, I can imagine it's going to end with maybe Taku and Riko getting back together and Akane ending up with her side piece. But honestly, I can also get this really weird feeling like one of them's gonna die or something. It's always when you read stories like this absurd that something just as absurd happens to one of the characters, usually leading into a death. I cannot foresee in my crystal ball of balls what's going to happen though, and that makes me addicted because this story is straight weird. I mean, it has to be straight weird. It wasn't in my 2025 bingo card to be reading this type of manga this year, but I want to know! I need to know, sir. How many volumes is this gonna be? Like, do they begin a full-on affair? What happens with Akane's cheating? Is Taku's going to survive or need to be cut off again? Either way, I don't know, but I know I need to. And that is just something that hurts and haunts me. I think about this manga so fucking much. My God! And I am so glad now that I was able to share it all with you guys because this story has haunted me. It's haunted me when I close my eyes. It's there. And I need you all to feel the exact same despair. Did I just touch it like a dick? Either way, thank you guys for watching this video. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you're thinking about supporting this channel or you want to see this video uncensored, please check out the link in the description. I may make another video about this because I need to know, depending on how many more volumes they are and how much I need to know what the f is gonna happen. I need to know a continuation. Either way, I'll see you guys later. I need to go take a shower. Bye. Bye.